looking at hip hop's Mount Rushmore
Do you know
right
what this
now.
is
I don't
like?
even know where to look. You know
This
what
is
I mean?
like when the Avengers movie and they brought them all together finally, and you're like, shit, they're all together. What's gonna? This is like sitting with a bunch of superheroes here. We're with the Juice Crew right now on FUBAR Radio. How you lot doing?
Great, man.
Good.
Good.
Chilling like a villain.
Doing
Traveling, a lot of traveling going on.
Just landed, yeah. Just landed.
Yeah.
Where did you just get here from?
The Netherlands, right?
Netherlands, yeah.
Right, don't say that again, G.
Yeah.
was ready to choke you, though.
No, it's in my Instagram post. Yo,
Yeah.
Somebody, I saw that.
Dope, man, but you got to tell
I
me you
saw
was
that.
in Den Haag, not Amsterdam.
Yeah, I saw that. I just kept saying pod. I was like, I'm not going to get this wrong.
What does that mean, Pi?
That's the
Name
club.
of the club.
Oh, okay.
It was looking me right in the face, so I just had to keep going with that one.
Just keep it safe. But you're all out here in Europe as
God
part
save
of...
the Queen.
Oh, really? I'm not down with you on that one, but yeah, no. Not sending hate to anybody, but yeah.
How old is she? Like 99 or something?
Yo, she's
not as
she
old
might
as
be
that.
199, bro.
But she's a hustler.
Yeah, she's on that liquid, man. Them steroids keeping her young.
got
We
the
don't know
elixir.
what's going on with the Queen, to be honest.
She got enough money. She probably got a secret keep alive stash somewhere.
Oh yeah, no, she's been in the news just this week with how she's like scamming the taxpayers and
Yeah, we
making
seen
billions
that. I
every
seen
week. Yeah, no, it's kind of
Listen,
crazy.
I want to clear customs at the end of this here tour, so can we move on to the next subject?
That's what I was about to
You're
say.
right about that.
I was about to say so.
I love the Queen. She's great. She was great in Naked Gun.
CCTV is everywhere.
You did.
So rightfully, all you guys are, but individually, like headliner acts, you could all headline your own shows and whatnot.
We have.
How did it come about that the Juice Crew are back together and you're touring? Like, what sparked off that process?
It was only natural. What are you talking about?
But why a Juice Crew reunion now? Like, why is this happening now, this Juice Crew reunion tour?
Because there's a lot of mumble rap out here, and they need to hear what the new music sound. I mean, the new guys need to know what real hip hop sound like.
For real.
I said it.
Kane was the one that kind of like pulled the trigger, and I'm just happy because I was tired of people asking me. So now we can actually do it, because it was like every show I came by myself. When they coming? I look like the damn school monitor. We gotta wait. What's gonna happen? But we here now, so it's going down.
Right.
Was that like, so when you do your verse off the symphony or something like that, and then they're like, where's, we want everyone else that was on it as well. Is it that sort of thing?
When I do my verse of the symphony at shows by myself, the show is over. That's it. It's over.
Yeah.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I need to go to sleep.
So Kane, how did you what made you think, okay, we need to do this? And was it an easy process getting everyone back together?
Getting everybody together that was actually the easy part, The hard part was probably organizing the show.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, but getting everybody. What happened was we had a show together at me and Shantae. We had a show together at Wingate, a spot in Brooklyn, and Biz came out during my show, and they all came out to do the symphony with me during my show, and it was like
magic.
This like the whole Juice Group, like, yeah, this is good, and a booking agency came and asked us about doing a show, and we did it, and it was successful, and just to see everybody getting along, we was just like, you know what, we can do this on our own. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to be paying nobody 10%. Let's do it on our own and sell the package, and we can keep all the bread, And it's been going good. It's been going good. Yeah.
And Shan, you said people, younger rap fans need to understand like something. What is it that you feel like younger kids? Because to me, I think if we look at rock music, like your equivalents in the rock world, like they're pretty well documented and recognized kind of thing. But I'm not so sure if like necessarily all the mumble rap stars know about the history of like Juice Crew. Like, why is that important for them to understand?
Because other cultures embrace their music, so why not embrace your forefathers and see where you came from? You wouldn't be where you at if we didn't do what we did. You know what I mean? So don't look at us as to say, well, what have you done? We made you. You know what I'm saying? So
can I add on to that?
Yeah.
also, I mean, coming up as a young artist in the 80s, a lot of stuff I learned to do on stage, I learned from watching old James Brown footage, old Marvin Gaye footage. So it's like, when you study your predecessors, there's a lot you can learn to enhance your career.
Yeah.
Because the word legendary gets bounded around like a lot just in the hip hop game in general. But I think like you guys really kind of set a template for a lot of what rap is, is today. Like, would you say that is fair to give you guys? You've earned the title legendary.
You hit it on the head.
But we were fans. We were fans of people. See, that's the thing now. Like, dudes now, they too cool to be fans of somebody. We were Listen, I every time I did a show with a certain artist, I go watch them. I ain't backstage toasting champagne. I'm learning. I'm soaking up energy, because, like they both said, listen, if you don't know where you came from, where you going, because. But the thing is. I want to shout out the mumble rappers because they can't perform, so it's getting me work. keep rapping over your lyrics, keep jumping up and down and saying 2.3 words of the song, and I'll be there next week.
Yeah, how do you feel about that, like, the whole rapping over your lyrics thing, as opposed to just the beat?
I think that's something that started to happen because they didn't study the history. They didn't look back to see how it was done. So whoever, I don't know who started it or who was the first one to really do it, but whoever did it first,
thank you.
They were like, I guess this is how you do it. And then they probably were successful, and then everybody after them followed suit. So there's a whole new generation of performers that think that you're supposed to rap along with the song, which is not what it's about.
But it's kind of like we've had lots of phases of hip-hop. There's been lots of different kind of key eras. So should we just be embracing this
No.
That
needs to end. I mean, when it comes to performing, we want to hear you.
I mean, would you spend $40 on a ticket and walk into the venue?
Yeah.
You two share this microphone as well.
You walk into the venue and you could have stayed home and listened to the song? I mean, that's what it is. And I mean, listen, I'm not here to knock nobody, but I'm just glad you're doing it because it's making more work for me.
And so, yeah. But then when you were saying you listen to people who are around, because a lot of people look at you lot as you are the founding fathers.
I believe everyone in this room. I believe everyone in this room did this because we were a fan of somebody else.
So who were the pioneers that you guys were watching? Like, because there's some the names that to you were like, oh my goodness, they're up there. Some kids have never heard of them.
Some of them are household names.
This is something a lot of people.
Kaz.
Yeah, Grandmaster Caz.
It's like, who made you pick up the pen?
My brother, we lived in Queens. My brother would bring home tapes from Harlem World, where the Cold Crush Battle of Fantastic Five and the Force MCs had all the TV show routines. I was like, this is what I want to do. This was amazing to me. So, we all fans of, like I said, for some reason, there's a disconnect with people, like, actually giving props to people nowadays. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did a show at Public Enemy, and I was in the front row because I had to see it. I was like, yo, even to this day, when Kane rock, I go watch. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Because, for one, the generation feel like they know everything. And I as I got older, I learned, you still learn till the day you go back to the essence. I don't know nothing. I just know how to rap a little bit. So, I still like, even certain new dudes. There's a couple of new dudes that rock shows, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a fan, but they're not mumble rappers.
Not the mumble rappers.
There's a lot of great artists that aren't being heard that are new. Big Crit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these dudes, they got something to say, but it's just being overshadowed by this trendy nonsense.
Wait a minute. With that being said, I got to plug my new album called Bars Over Bullshit. So go check out some of that new MC Shan. You know what I'm saying? So I had to just make my own segue right there.
Because I saw that you got that out. And so, the title seems like you're going at the guys that aren't really. How do you think, where do you guys think we got to this point where lyricism has been lost, in the mainstream, where people it's like almost like they don't really care about what you're saying, it's just how it feels. Like, how do we get to that point?
The internet.
Because it's been an overall dumbing down process.
Say that again, please.
It's been an overall dumbing down process
By the industry, by who?
by the powers
By
that
the
be,
powers that
power
be.
structures.
I think technology
You know what I mean?
played a big
Yeah,
part
yeah.
because as technology became more advanced in making music, it got to the point where all you needed was a laptop and a few programs, and you could make a record in your house.
Yeah.
And then people who weren't out there on the streets learning the craft, battling, like they weren't around anybody that could rap good. They just listened to stuff on the radio. It was like, I could do that, and then they just learned how to make a beat on a damn
Yeah,
laptop with keys. And made a record. Like Soulja Boy, like he literally made his first record in his basement on his laptop and blew
the
up.
fuck up.
blew up. And once he did that, everybody was like, "Oh, anybody could be a star. I'm do it too."
I also think that whole like you can't knock the hustle, like, you know, people got a bit blinded by, yeah, but you know that's their hustle. Like, at least they're making some money, but it's like it's polluting and diluting at the same time.
Exactly. For every one of those success stories, there's 500 terrible rappers trying to get on doing the same thing that you don't hear.
See, you got to understand that, you know, back in the 80s, 90s, you had a lot of MCs that grew up studying, you know, hip-hop culture.
Yeah.
And in the 80s and the 90s, hip-hop was still really just emerging.
Yeah.
You know, it was a music genre, but it wasn't fully accepted as a music genre yet.
Exactly.
Now it is
Makes
the
sense.
Yeah.
top selling music genre. So with that being, now you have rappers that are artists.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And just like, you know, with any other form of music, you know, it's people that, you know, get into it, you know, without studying the culture. Have people writing for them, you know, stuff that was illegal for real MCs back in the day.
Remember, if you sounded too close to somebody, you get approached, man. Like
That-
every song
Yeah.
sound the same, but if you sounded like somebody,
Your name couldn't
they-
even
they-
sound the same.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
approach you.
Because
That
that's
shit's
what's
the
crazy.
That's the
Yeah.
crazy stuff now. Is like, I like this person because they sound like so and so. There's like been a bunch
Literal
of MCs that have come
reversal.
out. You
That
know,
was a
even
cardinal
as far
sin.
back as Shine. You know, when Shine first come out, people were like, yeah, he sounds like Biggie. I was like, right, okay, maybe that's a reason not to like, you know,
Right.
not to knock Shine, but things like that I think have really kind of, you know, it's progressed a bit too much now.
Well, like Kane said, I always say it, man. Like, we did it before it was actually considered cool to do. Like, my mom used to be like, you doing that bebop, de-bop music? You know what I'm
I think
saying?
what it was that
Yeah.
at that time hip hop actually had an expiration date.
Yeah.
Like they actually told us that, you know, this is only going to be around for the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So try to get as much out of it as you could. I think that even led to the artists not valuing their publishing and their writers and different things like that because you did not see any longevity because they were not telling you that it was going to be around for a long time. They actually, hip hop was the only music that you were told that you had to outgrow in order to become an adult.
Yeah.
Serious. So they was
that-
like, yes.
really, like once you got to a certain age, you were told, like, you know, people wouldn't listen to hip hop on their jobs. People wouldn't listen to hip hop in their office buildings. People wouldn't. It's not like today. You know, in order for you to feel like you were an adult, or in order for you to have made it to a certain level, you had to actually let your hip hop
Go, yeah.
Wow.
in order for it
Yeah.
to be I mean, people would blast hip hop all the way until they get to the front of their office. Then they would turn to jazz.
Yeah.
Then they would go inside their
Serious.
office and pretend like they never listened to hip hop.
Yeah.
So
But
was that a case of it being looked down upon, or more so?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It was
Wow.
because it was looked down upon, and it was at a time where it was not controlled. See, now it's controlled. Now it's actually, I would say that I feel as though now it has been purchased, and so because of that, now that they have more control over it, they look at it now and have given it a different structure. But when they didn't have control over it, oh, it's nothing. Oh, it's
Yeah.
not going to do
They was
anything.
ignoring it
Oh,
almost.
it's not going to be anything. It's not going to be big. And then look what happens.
But that's when you had the variety back then.
Wow.
That's
And
what
that's
I mean.
when-
Before
right,
it got
that's-
controlled, like
exactly.
Voices were different.
That's when you had artists that would come out and everybody sounded different.
Yeah.
Everybody had their own uniqueness to them.
You could hear somebody
As
and
opposed to
immediately
now-
know where they was from.
When
Yeah,
creativity and
Now
originality
it's like
was a requirement.
a lot of
Was
so
a
many artists come
requirement.
out.
It was a
they sound
requirement.
exactly the same now.
Exactly.
And it was owned by us then still
Right.
before we had like the corporate influence going on. For me personally, I've always made a distinction between hip hop music or hip hop and rap music.
Yeah.
But I mean, what about you guys? Because some people tell me I'm wrong to say that.
Yeah, I don't make that distinction.
No, why?
To me, rap is the act of
The
doing
act
it.
of doing it, yeah.
Hip hop is the culture, the overall culture, graffiti, breakdancing, and graph. I mean, DJing, MCing, you know, beatboxing. All of those elements are all part of this umbrella we call hip hop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny to me because I'm you know, I'm kind of like at this point, my last album was called I Rap and Go Home. The one before that was called Ramblings of an Angry Old Man. I'm actually embracing getting older and trolling the industry, and I'm kind of an asshole, so it's funny to me. It's really funny to me. Like,
does it make you happy? Being angry makes you happy?
I'm not really angry. What it is, you know, when you talk about a certain thing, they immediately call you a hater. So I'm taking the power away from them by just going, yeah, okay, well, then if that's the case.
Son.
Really? I ain't never been more happy, man.
And I'm gonna tell you, one of the things that I find to be pleasurable about even being on this tour and being able to travel with the fellas again is I get a chance to truly be a fan, which I am a huge fan of everyone in this room. I know everybody's lyrics. I can sing everybody's songs, which I do. Like when you come out to the show, in the midst of me hosting, bouncing in and out, if you take a look or if you find me somewhere on the stage, whoever's on the stage, if you look at my mouth, I am saying every rhyme with them. Like exactly. I am doing lip sync in the back of them. I'm doing everything. I'm like a backup dancer, you name it. You know, if you look at me in the corner, you're like, oh my God, now how is she gonna come out and do her own shit? You know, because and
all the energy.
Yeah, exactly. Like with all the energy that I have for every last one of them, and that's because when they are the greats, you can't help but be fans.
Yeah.
Like I literally come out every night and watch the show like it's my first time seeing it.
Wow.
And they perform and bring the energy like it's their first time doing it.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you look at it and you see how we do the whole structure of it, I guess having 30 years under our belt, there's no telling what the show's gonna be like. Like I'm not gonna tell y'all this is the truth. I fuck it up every night. I change the lineup on them every night. Every night. Because I'm the host, it's like whoever I feel like is gonna go on next goes on next. So you can see somebody standing on the side and they'll look, and if I catch them, okay, they're next.
They're next.
Because my energy is so high.
Dope, though,
yeah,
to have
and
that live energy.
And exactly, and that's because anyone who goes to see the show, every show is different. So like if someone had the capabilities of coming to every show, follow my lines, every show is totally different. Reason being is because you don't know what the energies of the songs are going to be, how this one's going to perform that, what this person's going to wear. Like it's just not your regular mundane performance. It is true hip hop in its true essence. That's why so many people come out. That's why we don't have a problem selling tickets, selling out shows, whether we do it collectively or individually. Because people know that when they come, that's what we're going to bring.
And you must have been fans of each other, like, I mean, back in the 80s
I
when you
learned
were starting
something
out.
from-
Fans, cheering squad, you know, and even to the point of where exactly. And let me tell you, and even to the point of where if someone was going to do something that we felt was not good, we never held back. See, this generation, they're so afraid to tell each other when something's not.
Thin-skinned.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're so afraid to tell each other that. Not us. We'd be like, oh, I know you're not going to say that shit.
I tell you, when
like that one's not good, you know, and then it'll actually make you say, you know what? You grow a certain love and respect for them because of that, because they won't allow you to do that, because they won't let you just go out there and do that,
and because they're being honest,
right?
with
You know, there was never no yes men. Now we all roll together. That's one thing. We will all roll together, but no one is a yes man. So it's like if you're doing that and that's not good, they'd be like, nah, don't do that. And that's why we have longevity, and that's why we have the careers we do.
I learned something from everybody in here. Like when I did my first reggae shout, I went in the studio and rapped for 5 minutes. Shan had to help me write the first verse because I knew how to rap. I just didn't know how to structure a song. I was 12 years old. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I learned something from everybody in here, and I'm not above taking advice. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like I said, nobody knows everything. You know what I mean? So
when I was, you know, before I had a deal, like I remember, buying, my copy. That's funny you say buying a copy of Shout. You know, I used to go to this club in New York called Latin Quarters on Tuesday nights, battle on stage. And every night on Tuesday night when I'm battling on stage, I was using the bridge. That's what I was rhyming over. I was rhyming over the bridge. I remember cursing my brother out. I mean, I let him have it one night.
Or Little Daddy Shane.
Yeah, Little Daddy Shane, because he forgot to record this here freestyle that she had dissing Doug and Rick called Wash Your Body. She switched Lottie Dottie to Wash Your Body. And I told my brother, and he forgot to record it. And I probably didn't speak to him for like 3 days. You know,
that's crazy.
And then when we got down, I think I got down maybe like right after G. So we was always hanging together, and we had that, friendly competitive thing.
Yeah.
You know, where I might call
we've
him
heard
1
about
o'clock,
this.
2 o'clock in the morning. Yo, G, check this out. I got this here. Attack react, attack the Mac, I moved it with. 2 nights later, G hit me up. Yeah. Check this shit out, man. The feature, camps, lumps.
Iron sharpening iron right there.
But I mean, it was that type of love, man. So I was like, yeah, definitely.
I say it
fans
all the
of his brother.
time. Like Marley, one night you called Marley crib and did a rhyme over the phone, and I went home and like threw away 3 rhyme books. I was like seriously, because like it was more of a basic style until I heard Kane and G. It turned into like cadences and double time, and I was like, I gotta step my rap game up, man.
There
What the hell's
must have been
going
the
on?
element of you guys like sparring with each other, like kicking each other up the
I'm
arse.
just-
Like, how did that competitiveness play out in the making of records like the Symphony? Because no one wants to be that's the whack verse on that tune. Like everyone wanted
There's
to be
no
the
whack
number
verse
one.
on that
no,
song,
there
though.
is none. But
There's no
everyone
whack verse on
what
that
it
song.
did was it allowed everyone to make classics.
It's too many damn opinions
And that's
now.
what it allowed.
That's the problem. There was no whack verse in that
the
song.
competitiveness allowed everyone to make classics. That's the reason why everyone can still do their songs today, is because it allowed them not to just make records, not to just make songs, not to just say rhymes, but it allowed them to make classics.
Keep it
And that is
timeless.
exactly. And that's the reason why, I thank the fact that the Juice Crew has always been the way we are. And one thing, just being like how you said that we were superheroes, and how like
You are superheroes.
Well, then,
Yeah.
Let's keep it as
that
are.
as that we're superheroes. So collectively, when we come together, the force is incredible.
Avengers assemble.
Exactly. But as with superheroes apart, everyone still has their superpowers, and they still go out here, and we literally go out here and save hip hop one show at a time.
Ace, man, you were the last one to get involved.
Damn, I'm good.
How intimidating was it? Like, when you're like, okay, I got to be up with these guys. What was that like back then? Because I would have been shook as fuck. man.
Honestly,
I'd be like,
being from Brooklyn and rhyming and rhyming in the streets and stuff, I was confident. I wasn't intimidated at all. I wasn't intimidated until after I did my symphony verse, and then I sat back and listened to these dudes, and specifically when I heard G Rap's verse,
And the tape ran off
I was
the
like,
spool.
oh, I should have said something different. I should have said this other verse. Damn.
It's really weird though, because like Marley was like legendary for making you wait in front of the building,
Okay.
and he had Ace waiting for like 9 hours.
That's how I met Craig.
And I just
he was the
walked
first
up.
one I met.
In Queensboro, I just walked up to him and like talked to him. And
He was
then
like, yo, y'all waiting for Marley.
I was like,
right?
y'all waiting for Marley,
I
right?
was like, yep.
And after that, like I started hanging out with Ace a lot. Like I just came up to him and talked to him because like Marley would just like he'll tell you 3 o'clock and that shit was never 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's why I did my laundry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You'd be out there
that's
like
how
6.
I made my record. It was like, okay, yeah,
But
Marley's waiting.
the one thing I know about the one thing I
At
can
least
say
he let
about
y'all in.
yeah, the one thing I can
Nice.
say
Let
about
me in.
Ace is when I first heard Ace, it was more like Ace was like a like Alex Haley to me, like because the stories was crazy visual, so I was always a fan of Ace, like you know what I'm saying, because you had assassins on the mic. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their own but Ace for some particular reason was like opening a novel when you hear him. Like when you hear Brooklyn Battles or one of those songs, it was like, wow, this dude is like, if he wasn't rapping, he'd probably be making books. So, you
where
know,
did that come from? Because that's what a lot of people talk about is the fact
well,
that
he was educated. That we were all
he
educated.
came straight from college.
But I know that you're educated. But what made you feel like, okay, this could work? Me telling stories in this way.
Honestly,
the same with G Rap. You got some crazy stories as well. What made you think, okay, this could work?
It started when I heard Slick Rick, Lottie Dottie, and Treat Her Like a Prostitute.
Yeah.
I knew I could do like cool stories, and then so I took the whole concept of Lottie Dottie, and I wrote a rhyme with that kind of beat in mind. And I entered this contest, the United States of America, out in Queens, and
United Skates.
yeah, USA.
USA.
We were just talking about USA on the ride.
Yeah, we were just talking about going there.
And I won the contest, really based on writing this rhyme like similar to Lottie Dottie in terms of it having punchlines and surprise endings and character changes and all of that stuff. And so I was like, oh, I'm a run this. I won the contest, so this is actually some cool stuff. So I just started writing more and more stories, and then I heard Dana Dane's Nightmares, and Cinderfella and all of that, and I was like, maybe I need to, diversify a little bit. I'll write stories, but I should have some lyrical stuff going on too. And then hearing Rakim and then Kane, that kind of gave me a direction. Okay, now when I start doing this lyrical stuff, I got to be on a high level with it if I'm gonna be able to hang out.
Super lyrical, boy. Each one of you lot, man. This is
I
crazy,
know,
boy.
but I think like people definitely, I think it's fair to say they think of Juice Crew and they mention beefs and battling and stuff.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people know the history of a lot of how these kind of heads came about and everything. But is this something where you can look back on it now, Shan? Let's start with you then. Look back on it now in a kind of nostalgic. Oh, those are like days of good old days. Or is it something where it still is alive and it stings?
Bars over bullshit.
I mean, the cool thing with Shan is like KRS has gone down to say like if it wasn't for you lot's battle, he wouldn't be here, right?
Well, the whole thing started because he wanted to be down with us, and Magic told him to beat it.
Right.
Wow.
And he couldn't make a record about Magic.
Yeah,
So
Magic
was the
Magic
next
kicked him out the
target in
station.
line.
I was answering the phones at the station back then. Magic showed them the door.
Serious.
I was like, wow, yo, you disrespected them dudes, yo. And he did what he knew. You know what I'm saying?
And that was the way hip-hop was
Yeah.
back then, you know what I'm saying? You didn't get offended when somebody made a record or a song about you. You just went and made one back.
Yeah.
Unlike nowadays, you say something about somebody,
Yeah,
they
they
ready to go to
sensitive.
jail
Yeah,
for
they
it,
really
you
sensitive.
know.
Yeah, like you. I mean, but
Well, that's a few.
Yeah.
The rest of them, they gonna clap back on social media.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
there you go.
That's the new battle.
That's the new
Right.
battle.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the new battle, and they're gonna get on an Instagram post and show your old couch and tell people that you peed the bed when you was 6.
So I want to ask you lot individually if we can go around because I mean, out of everyone, G Rap, you never really been in a rap battle with anyone either. Have you?
Never had to.
Who
Yeah,
wanted
you-
to battle these two dudes, man?
Huh?
Who nobody wanted to battle these two guys, man.
You know
But
what I'm
Kane,
saying?
you've been involved in one or two, right? We're
I've been in a lot of rap battles.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask each one of you, like, your favorite ever battle rap lyric. One that you either I wish I said that, or right, I'm glad I don't have to reply to that. Start go this way around.
I don't know about a specific lyric, but I thought I always liked the Common joint, the bitch in you.
Yeah.
I always thought that was because the
Yeah, he
beat was so
killed that.
dope. It was smooth, but he was getting at him, but in a smooth way. I like that one.
I gotta say Jack the Ripper, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Jack the Ripper, because I never, like, Kool Moe Dee couldn't, and Kool Moe Dee was like one of the greatest rappers in the world to me, but the way LL handled him and Jack the Ripper, it was really like, wow, man. Leave him alone, man. He had enough, man. I was like, yo, B, like, come on, what? You need the washed up rapper, need to wash that. My name is, I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. So that was it for me, yeah.
G Rap.
For what? For battles?
Talking to the mic.
Like other artists.
Ether. Craziest,
God, yeah.
craziest battle response
I love the
record of all
underdog.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dropped some lyrics. I don't even want to repeat some of this shit, but yeah, when he something about, what was it, that whole scheme about something, your fat lips.
Yeah, J.J. Evans.
Yeah, J.J. Evans.
Gunned up and clap quick.
Yeah, that was crazy. Kane?
For me, it would be it's really a tie. Number one would be the Kool Moe Dee versus Busy B.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean,
I might have
because it's
chose
like
that one.
that's the first time I ever heard
Somebody
someone
get
go
shut
at
down.
someone.
Yeah.
The impact
You know
of
what I'm
that as
saying?
well
Yeah,
back
right.
then.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
And that, and then the other one would be, Roxanne's Revenge.
Oh yeah.
Just for the simple fact that, just a whole goddamn record off the top of her head, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
so classic.
We
So
gotta
classic.
get
For that
into that.
alone, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's so classic.
Bananas.
Yeah, that is crazy. So,
I think for
to the
me,
first lady, if you can.
I think for me, and I know everyone may not agree, but enjoyed 50 Cent's "Rob the Industry."
Ooh.
That
was fun.
For me, because that's the type of battle rap I come from. Like, grab everybody. Don't just pick one. Just grab them all. Just throw them all in there and say something about everybody, because somebody got to say something.
And that's right when it started getting sensitive too.
Yeah, that's
so
right when it started getting
really
sensitive.
didn't care.
But right there, that Bentley coupe door.
Battle rap gumbo.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Absolutely.
A couple of people were mad at him too, and it was like, go ahead, man.
Yeah, just grab everybody from the industry. Throw them
Can't
in.
blame them, man.
Nah, man, it's not that serious, man. It's just words, man. It's not that serious, yo. It's really not that serious. Look, if you don't come up in the era where when you spitting, somebody is going to try to top you, then you're going to feel threatened by everything. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, oh, okay, that rhyme was dope. I'm coming back with a better rhyme. That was it.
It's testing your skills.
It
That's
wasn't.
what it is,
Yeah,
test the skills.
It wasn't offensive to us because everybody felt like they had something better. So you know what I'm saying?
That's
Yeah,
it.
and yours?
Shan?
Look, you would hear Kane verse or G verse on the song and go home and just pull out a paper bag.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Start
It's like,
writing.
yo, even if you didn't say it on a song with them,
Yeah.
it was something that they said.
I was
that just
biting.
made
I had a
you-
men at work cadence. I
You know
never
what I'm
recorded.
saying? they just made you want to come with some, it just sparked the creativity in you. You can't, I agree with both of them, Ether and the Kool Moe Dee battle, because I battled L. You know what I'm
The
saying?
Kool Moe
I-
Dee was
What
legendary.
did you say to
saying?
L? You said some shit.
Beat biter. That
Beat
was the
Yeah,
biter.
that's
best.
a beat by
You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
You know why the Kool Moe Dee joint was so ill? Because like when you listen to that tape, you hear them trying to stop Kool Moe Dee. Like in the background, dude's like, "Yo, come on, man, come on," and he's just going in. It was just ridiculous. And
The live aspect of it with the crowd reacting to every line.
mind,
too.
this wasn't visual; it was just audio.
Audio, yeah.
You could picture it though.
Yeah, you could just picture it. Like Moe Dee was probably in the corner somewhere pacing because he had this in his head. He probably was tired of it all. He was like, "You know what, man? Tonight's the night, man."
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
you know,
he's like, that's it,
he
we gonna
felt
retire
that,
that bar,
Busy
Biggie
B
ball
was
bullshit
tied
on
in
both.
with all
Yeah.
the club
That was-
owners.
Yeah,
and
like
that's how
I
he was
said.
winning these battles, and he not even rhyming. He
And
only
the
doing
fix
crowd
was on.
participation.
Yeah,
Incredible.
that might be my all time. Actually, that's the one that really turned.
You
me.
understand? Ether, Jack the Ripper, all these songs.
Was the predecessor to that?
Yeah, like that's the first time you heard somebody go at
Yeah,
someone.
And that tape
You know.
went triple platinum.
Yeah,
in the
and
hood.
dissect
Dissect
their
put
whole
that
career.
Bob Diddy Bob
So that was the
bullshit
first
on
time.
hold.
Yeah, that was
Because I
it.
wanted to ask about that. Like, we spoke to RZA not too long ago, and he was talking about when he first met Killer Priest. They were battling on the street or whatever. But the lyric he said I was chatting a lyric about talking about the sperm going to the womb, and to me that didn't sound like a battle lyric. Like he was going at Killer Priest. So I wanted to ask you, like, in terms of was battling not just about like me dissing you, was it also about how skillful this verse is or whatever?
It was both, right?
Both.
Yeah.
It was both.
It's both, and it depending on what the setting is.
It needed both.
If you in a live crowd situation and they're like reacting to what you're saying, you better off going at the person. Because I was in the new music seminar in like 90, I want to say 91 or
MC
something
Breed.
like that.
No, what was his name?
Yeah.
What was
Breed,
that?
Breed. No, not
he
Breed.
was from Cleveland. Wait,
yeah.
Bengo.
No.
His name was MC Bengo
No, it
because I
wasn't.
got up in the intermission and dissed him.
I
was-
remember.
Me and Ace were
You lot
training.
savages.
It was either
We
Breeze
were
or Bleed.
training.
Yeah, I was training with Craig.
We were
off
training.
the top of the head. Like that was the plan. Go
Yeah.
off the
And
head.
then you had that rhyme about marrying your dick that you didn't do.
Well, when we got there, I just changed. I called the
Plan
audible.
changed. He
Yeah,
wasn't
And-
I
gonna
think the
do
line
it.
was like,
and
"Now
I went
you
off-
can kiss the bride."
Yeah, I went off. I went off paper instead of going off the dome, and I just said some lyrical shit that was dope.
And
But
he jumped around like an asshole.
He just went off the dome. Said how much time was left on the clock, and everybody went crazy.
Yeah. And then they had an intermission, and I destroyed him. I was just angry. I was just like, I hated to see that because Ace was prepared, but then Ace threw the audible,
Yeah.
and dude wasn't even that nice. He was down with Ice-T in him.
For a minute.
For a minute.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, his name was MC Bengo from
No,
Cleveland.
I-
He
that's not the
borrowed.
name. That's not
No,
the
what it
name.
is though. He borrowed somebody's chain before he got on, and I peeped it. Like, he put it on in front of everybody. Took somebody's shade, and they had like an intermission after the battle, and I just went and got the mic. MC Surge was looking at me like, what's wrong with this dude, man? And I cursed out everybody.
It was either Breed or Breeze or
I
something
can't
like
remember,
that.
but I remember that, yo.
Let's
But
call him Bango
how about when
Breeze,
Shan
just
Tay
to-
was in the seminar?
I don't remember that.
What, battling somebody?
Wasn't it Busy B you destroyed?
Yeah.
Shut up.
It was a few of them. I think
Busy B, Melly Mel. I
I
think he
started-
went
I-
at the whole room.
She's gone at like
all of them. You know what it was? It
a
started off.
truckload. She's
Yeah.
gone at a truckload of rappers, right?
That shit
Well,
was,
when
that
we
was
went
legendary.
when we went to the seminar, when we actually went to the seminar, what they did was they had it set up where I had to battle everyone.
Yeah.
So instead of it just being like these two MCs go against each other and then whoever wins, then these two go against each other and then these two go against each other, that wasn't it. When we looked at the chart, it was just Shantae against everyone, all the way up into the top. So after I was there for about maybe 4 or 5 hours straight, before freestyling until it got to the point of Busy B. So people were saying like they had gave me like 9s and 10s all day. And when it got down to the final battle, and it was me and Busy B, and he was like, okay, we're going to go out here. Let's go ahead and we're going to do it. So we went out there, and then he wound up saying something that angered me, and then I went into a full freestyle talking about what he had
Verbal
on, his
shrapnel
rhymes, and
everywhere.
everything. So they said, well, it's time to vote. So when it was time to vote, everybody was like, yo, you won it. You know, this is world supremacy. This means you are the best MC in the world. You are like, people are going to know this. So I was like, yeah, I definitely won this. There's no way I didn't win this. So Kurtis Blow said, what does she need to lose? And they were like, there's no way she could lose. The only way she could lose is like if you gave her a 2. So he looked at the paper and he wrote a number 2 on it.
The fix was in.
And he put up the 2, and people was booing, and they had to escort him out, and you know they gave it to Busy B that year, and you know I think
Boo.
at that moment I fell out of love with hip hop because this is not what I got into.
The
it
battle
for.
was
like I
fixed.
got into
So the
it.
fix has always been
Right.
into Busy
Always
B.
Right,
been in.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
the
I
fix was-
had got into it in order to be not just a great female rapper, but to be the greatest rapper. But you know, everybody kept coming up to me like, "But you the best girl ever. You're gonna be the best girl forever." And you know, girls are gonna be compared to you forever. And still today, they do. Like if a young lady comes into the industry and she has a certain thing, they'll say, "You know what? She's like Roxanne Shante." So absolutely. So I do take a lot of pride in that. But years later, when I did meet, I did see Kurtis Blow, and this is like years and years went by, and you know, life has done whatever
got
it's gonna
my
do to
revenge on
people.
him, too.
He said to me, he said, listen, he said, you know, let me explain to you what happened that day. So I was like, listen, you know, you don't have to explain it to me. Life is good for me. I'm great. I tour because I want to, not because I have to. You know, things are good for me. Other projects, things are well. So I'm still blessed. So don't worry. He's like, no, I have to get this off my chest. I need to tell you why I did what I did. And so I was like, okay, well, you know what? Tell me. And he said, you know what, Shani, at that time, because, you know, those who are close to me call me Shani. So he said, Shani, at that time, hip-hop was just starting to get legs. They were starting to get looked at from major companies, and people were starting to get major deals. And unfortunately, we could not let the best in the world be a 15-year-old girl from the projects. They'd have never took hip-hop serious if that is the best you have. There was just no way that we could do that. He said, so it wasn't a fact that you wasn't good. We all know that you won that battle. We all know that you deserve world supremacy, but we couldn't give it to you at that time because what would have done to hip-hop if the best in the world was a little girl? They would not have taken us serious. You know, that's just the way the industry is made up. So, you know, I just needed to say that to you. So I told him, like, okay, you know, look, that's fine.
How did you really feel
I got
about
him
that?
back for you.
How did you really feel?
Can I tell my favorite?
You know,
Yo,
and he said, how, you know, you said, like, how do I feel about it?
Yeah, how did you really feel about that?
Well,
You
I'ma
said
tell
okay
you-
to him, but
Well, you know, it is, honestly, to tell you the truth, for the state of hip-hop and how hip-hop has grown, and if I had to have been the sacrifice for that, in order for hip-hop to have been taken seriously, you know, as black women, we do sacrifice ourselves a lot for a lot of different causes, and we may not receive the accolades that we're supposed to, and we'll stand in the background and we'll allow people to go ahead and cheer it on and let things grow from that point. So if I had to be that sacrifice, then so be it. And honestly, I am not angry. You know, that's one of the things that I can walk with. Like, I am not an angry person. I'm not angry. You know, and most people be like, well, I would be mad, or I would be this, or I feel that way. Then, you know, maybe you wouldn't be alive right now, or you wouldn't be blessed right now, or you wouldn't be good right now. So everything happens for a reason. And so if that reason happened that day, in order for hip hop to be what it is today, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's some superhero.
What were you gonna
talk
say,
right
Kane?
there.
You were gonna add something before Kane.
Yeah, I was going to say that probably my favorite Shantae moment was 1986, Morgan State College. I didn't have a record out then. I was just doing little cameo appearances with Biz Markie. And it was Biz Markie, Roxanne Shantae, and UTFO on the show. And we're backstage, and like, I don't know, you ever seen a Tyson fight?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you know how like that look on his opponent face? I'm not gonna put dude on blast, but one of the cats from UTFO, I swear, he had that look on his face. He would not make eye contact with Shantae. Like one of them came over and spoke to her. But a particular one, he would not make eye contact with her the whole time. He had his face down, and he had that look of concern, like, you know, is she gonna go off the script when she go on stage and diss us some more? Like you can see it in his face, like how nervous he was. I'm sitting there tapping Biz DJ, Kool V, like, yo, dude is scared as shit right now. Look at him, look.
I don't know if it was him, but
I'm
rest
gonna
in peace to the
tell you what
educated
it
rapper.
is, though.
Nah, it
Hold up,
wasn't.
Craig. I'm gonna tell you what it is. With Shantae, you didn't know what you was gonna get, for the simple fact you might come with your stuff written on a piece of paper. Shani gonna look at your shoes, she gonna look at your jacket, your hat, your fucking mustache.
That's the other
She
thing.
gonna fucking
Everything
go in
that
on
dudes do
it.
now in battle, she was doing
she
way
was
back
doing-
then.
But,
Yeah,
but
but
that's
the
how we
difference
used to
is that
practice
she's
back in
off
the
the top
days. Look,
freestyling
look,
for real.
yeah,
back in the days,
Yeah.
we used to practice like that when we was on the tour buses. We would just go against all the crews.
And even before rhyming,
You know what
we're
I'm
all
saying?
from a neighborhood where you couldn't go to the store without having to have a snap session with somebody.
Right,
So
and look,
that
that's
was
how
part of
we
the
started,
training.
on the bench.
Yeah,
on
that
the
was part of the
benches.
training.
Every day we'd come out on the benches, and it wasn't about what you wrote. It was about what you could flip off the top
I
of
got
your
Kurtis
head.
Blow back though. Remember, I used to be on the air with Magic and Marley, and one night he was on the air with us, and I used to freestyle, and that was me on Friday.
Absolutely.
I would just go in on everybody, and I went in on Kurtis Blow because he was acting he was acting real stuck up. He started rhyming. I was cutting him off. I was throwing shots at him. He didn't talk to me for like a year.
Juice Crew was out of control.
Yeah, I was like, yo, man.
So,
Man, I was Magic's man, so Magic was always gassing him. I was like, man, this dude is whack, man. They opened the mic. I was like, you Jerry Curl. He was looking at me like, yo, who is this little dude, man? Nah, B.
But I'm
The
curious
angry
though,
young
like,
man there.
what for each of you was your first like experience of hip hop? Where was the first time where you were like, oh my goodness, this thing, or was it always there, or do you remember that first time where
It had to be a park jam for me, like I said. It had to be a park jam.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, when I seen like this dude DJ Smalls from Astoria, like these are dudes nobody ever heard of, and they get the mic, and I just saw the power that they had. Like, you know, the rhymes were simple as hell, but everybody paid attention.
I was like 9, 10 years old. A park jam.
River Park, Disco Twins would come with the fake Ray Charles on the roof, speakers piled up
Exactly.
to the sky, and I was just, and I had to be home because again, even during the Juice Crew day, I couldn't do half the shows, man. I had to go to school, man. So
Allegedly.
not when I got to high
I
school.
was supposed to go.
Nah, when I was in high school, I was running in Brooklyn. And
See, I liked
yeah.
hip hop, but I really wasn't looking at it as a career until she took me out on a show. I was working
Wow.
a job making $120 a week. I went out to Florida with her, and I came home and quit. Like,
The funny thing, you know what's the funny thing though? The funny thing is she did that for most of us.
Serious.
Yeah.
She did that
You
for
know
us.
what
Me
it was?
too.
You know
Yeah,
what it was? It was
word up.
because I was a person who I wanted everyone to experience what it is that I was doing. Like, listen, so this week I'm going to take Shan. This week I'm going to take Kane. This week we're going to be with G. This week we're going to be with Craig. This week,
I ain't
you know,
never
because
left the hood. I
everybody
was just
needs
like, whoa.
to see this. And not only that, at that time we had an airlines called People's Airlines that you paid in the air.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you paid in the air. So it was
That
like
sounds like
and I
Soul
said,
Plane. What's
let me
the-
tell you something, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. I think it was the Juice Crew that bankrupted them because once we found out that you could pay in the air, anybody with any guts was like, "Yo, I'm getting on the plane." You know, I'm just gonna get on the plane. I was like, "Yo, listen, We're going to People's Airlines and it's flying out of Newark. So if you come. And this is before you had to have ID.
Yeah.
You know, this is before you had to have all that. All you had to do was just show up and get on the plane.
You can walk on a plane
you're
with a
talking
stick
a
of
lot of years
dynamite in
ago.
your back pocket.
Absolutely.
You could smoke on the plane then as well.
Yeah, you could smoke on the plane and
That's
everything.
right.
On the plane,
You know,
still had the little ashtrays on the thing.
and everyone had star qualities, every last one of them. Everyone, when they picked up the mic, I looked at them and was like, wow, he's next. Wow, he's next. And you know, that's a blessing to sit back and look at your entire crew,
And be
everyone, from the DJs to the dancers to everyone, and just look at them and say, wow, he's
Avengers
next. And then they
assemble.
turn out to be next. You say, wow, that's great.
But we all here because of Roxanne Shante.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Sounds
saying?
like it, man. That
Hell,
sounds like
I
it.
Put
was
it all
on
in
tour
motion.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
For
she
6
put it all in
months
motion
with
for
no
all of us.
record
Yeah.
at all.
You know
Say
what
that
I mean?
again. Say
For,
that again.
for 6 months, I was on tour without a record at all.
With Roxanne Shante.
With her.
Jeez.
It was like a school.
She was
man.
the biggest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
15-year-old
So-
girl from
Killing
Queens.
it, murdering people as well.
Yeah.
Wait, so where did that? So you're
Real
15.
skillful.
You're 15 and you're touring like this. You know, when was the point where you know, okay, I want to rap and this is how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to keep burying people left, right, and center.
I think having
after you
absolutely.
I think Shante was just being herself in
I
general.
think that's what it was. I think
Yeah.
just the ability to be able to rhyme and do freestyles. You feel like, you know what? You wake up every morning, you're not gonna run out of rhymes. Literally, you're not gonna run out of rhymes.
Where did you learn to freestyle?
I think it's called the Nipsey Russell syndrome. See, a lot of people don't want to give credit to Nipsey Russell, but I do. And the fact is, it's called the Nipsey Russell syndrome because being able to sit there and watch him even on Hollywood Squares and everything he said was a rhyme. So sometimes I would spend my entire day making everything rhyme. And when I would leave out my house and go downstairs and be going out the first floor, somebody was always waiting for me on the first floor in my building. Now, I didn't know if they was waiting to fight or if they was waiting to battle, but somebody was always waiting for me every day. And I would come down steps, and once I come out the elevator, I would know if it was about rhyming, they'd be hitting the wall like I've been waiting for you all
That's
day.
crazy.
You know, and it's like,
wow,
okay,
I've been waiting for you all day. Like,
yeah, waiting for me all day, you know, so.
Yeah.
And that actually built up the skill to be able to rhyme all the time. So, you know, I just felt like, okay, you know what? I can do this. This is something that's easy. It came as easy as breathing.
I was gonna
So it
say,
wasn't
like with the
difficult.
freestyle,
Yeah,
they
the
always
freestyle-
ask me.
yeah,
I was
it
like, I
comes as
didn't
easy as
learn.
breathing.
I didn't
Well, let me
learn.
tell
It's
y'all
just
a
something.
funny story,
You just had to
though.
be witty.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
it. You had to know.
But check it out.
So
With her, every state we went to, they always had a battle set up. She was battling Roxanne's mama, Roxanne's grandma. It was always some battle set up with some local girl that couldn't even
didn't know what she was
just
getting
didn't
into.
know what she
Yeah,
was
know what
getting
she was
into.
getting into.
And Shante, they had battles all the time set up for her.
when they set up the battle, is it like they call you, they say, yeah, we
Nah,
wanna-
no, it was
I
just
get
a
off the,
surprise.
I get off the
And
plane,
find out.
and when
It's a battle.
I would get off the plane and say we were going to California,
Yeah.
and so we would get off the plane, and once we get off the plane, I get inside the limo. And the limo driver be like, yeah, well, I hope you ready for tonight. Because, they
I
got
got my girl Susie.
I'm like,
And-
ready for tonight. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, look. And then you drive past and you see a picture of a girl holding a microphone like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh,
shit.
that's for me. And he's like, yeah.
And
He's
it's
like,
crazy.
ready?
You know, it's crazy
Yeah,
because I
like,
get asked it a lot now, like with the new battles. A lot of them dudes are dope, but the one thing I don't like is that you know who you going to battle for like
yeah.
3 months
yeah,
before.
that takes away from
And
it.
all the research,
Yeah.
the Googling that people
Like,
do.
nah, she get off the plane and be like, some of the promoter's little cousin, that was her chance to be a star until she got destroyed.
I mean, to be fair, like the new way of doing it, that's turned into an art form itself.
I
you
mean,
know,
these
like the
dudes
whole
are nice.
research
These
and-
dudes are nice, but like I said, the element of like walking into a building and not knowing a battle
Yeah,
was
that's
going to take
different.
place to
Whole
me
other
was like
aura.
the whole other aura. Like,
That's
you-
a whole lot more skill needed for that.
yeah,
I'm gonna tell
like,
you, I enjoyed the battles of today. I'm not gonna take anything away
Yeah.
from them. I find them to be very entertaining. The only difference is somewhere along the line, the definition of freestyle for me
That's another thing.
is a little different than
Yeah.
the definition of
Yeah.
freestyle
Exactly.
today.
Oh, this is
Yes.
what I wanted to
Completely
ask.
different
I wanted to
definition.
ask you
Freestyle,
that.
Yeah.
for me, freestyle meant you didn't know who your opponent was. You said your rhymes and you made them up right then and there.
Yeah.
That was a freestyle. It wasn't structured. And then today's freestyle means freely being able to read them off the paper after you freely wrote them a few days ago.
Yeah,
And
but
now-
so Kane, there's the video of you. I can't remember what radio show, but you were talking about what freestyle meant back in the day.
I'm gonna tell you though, Kane was right because that was also a freestyle. Also to like people that didn't rhyme off the top of the head was just a rhyme that had no particular thing. It
Right.
was just you had
A
verses,
braggadocious
you had
rhyme.
verses ready. They weren't for a song.
It wasn't for no, it wasn't of no specific subject matter.
Yeah.
You know, I
That
mean,
meant
like
freestyle as in,
like
no
a verse
topic.
on Raw. You know, like the verse on Men at Work. You know,
Just
what
spitting.
they did on the symphony.
Yeah,
you
just
know, what I'm
spitting.
saying?
That's
Yeah.
the
It
original
was the
meaning of
rhyme that-
freestyle.
That's the original meaning.
Yeah.
That was the
Like
original
the
meaning.
bridge. That wouldn't, we wouldn't call that a freestyle. That's a story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
There's
saying?
a concept to it.
But
Well,
I mean,
that's
just
why-
bragging about yourself and some stuff
That's
like that.
why
That's
it kind of shifted from being called freestyle
What she
to
did,
going
we used
off
to
the
call
head.
off the dome.
Going
Yeah.
off the dome.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Off the top of the dome.
Yeah.
Like
So off the top
freestyle.
of the dome is what we now call freestyle.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the idea of when you do a freestyle verse meant it could be written,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
it wasn't about anything in
But
particular.
not everybody could do the off the dome. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do it. That's the thing. Okay, it's like
Like with me, when I used to do it, it would probably be like 4 lines, and I would only do it in a battle if if dude like said something slick about me, and I had to come up with something slick about him. You know.
Yeah.
and even
yeah.
harder was to walk up and just stare a dude down and just process the information. Like, oh shit, yeah, he got a hole in his shoe. Oh, it's over.
Also, the rebut when you like reply what someone's just said to you as well. That's quite a quick. You know, that always used to get a good response.
Shout out to Supernatural. He hosting a show in London.
Yeah.
But you know,
Oh yes, he is in town.
yeah, he is in town. But this is a Juice
okay.
Crew show.
What is there
so-
gonna be?
Yeah.
No, this is a Juice Crew show, B.
The way you
This
said
is a
that.
Juice Crew show. Relax.
Man, this is amazing,
not-
boy.
we not-
Juice Crew in London.
We're not doing that. If you want to do that, we could come back and get a separate check for that.
Hey.
But in those early days that you guys recorded, I mean, because obviously it was a lot of, holding your own to represent like where you were from and everything. But what my
That's
taking
great,
the
that's great. She's gotta
Gary
play
fiddling with my hair.
hair.
No, but how much of it did you have like a long-term vision or plan where you were thinking, okay, I'm going to verse this because I'm going to try and spread this out into a career? Or was it literally just coming down to that one rhyme?
We were learning as we was going. At least I know I was. Yeah,
That's
we
what
was.
it was.
Yeah.
We was young kids having fun.
Yeah, man.
But then we found out we could get paid doing this. All right.
I would never in my life imagine, 20, 30 years later that, like, we're considered like legacy. I didn't even think hip hop would have like legacy artists.
Yeah, that must be weird.
You know what I mean?
man.
Like
can't even
where a
imagine
legacy artist is, you don't really have to put out music no more. You just rock on the road because, and I tell like new artists that I'm like, yo, you can make a hit and in 3 months nobody's gonna remember it, but I'm still working off a song I did in 1988. I'm amazed. Like baby, like, you don't get tired of doing that song? Hell no, I just bought a new furniture set, my dude. We good. I'll do the symphony, dropping science. How many times you went here? You got the check?
It
All right,
reminds
let's go.
me of the lyric, the Jay-Z, I'm still spending money since 88 or something like that, he says. And it's more or less the same thing. You guys are making money off the shit that you made like damn near 30 years ago.
But you know why though? And I always say this too, because we didn't do it on purpose. We was just making music. Nobody when we left the studio, nobody said the symphony was gonna be a hit.
But it has
was
that
just-
raw energy to it.
You gotta understand, like, Ronald Isley has new music out.
Mm-hmm.
Patti LaBelle has new music out.
Yeah.
But when you come to the show to see Ronald Isley, you come in here between the sheets
Yeah.
for the love of you.
Atlantis,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Footsteps in the dark.
Yeah.
You come to hear Patty, you want to hear
Yeah.
Love Need and Want You. If only, you know what I'm saying? It's
That
like those
lady.
are classic hits that stood the test of time.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with us.
Yeah, it's not nowadays. I'm glad because it's like Chinese food now. The music, it's like so instant, but it's fine. It's
So
all right.
you guys have we spoke about where you got to learn about hip hop is in the park and whatnot. What's been the most surreal moment now? Whenever it's been where you're like, wow, hip hop has come this far. You step outside yourself type thing.
I think for me it's doing some of these festivals around Europe, Splash Festival, Hip Hop Camp, stepping out on stage and seeing 15,000 people that are there specifically to see hip hop music be performed is pretty amazing to me.
Craig?
Whenever they pay me to rap, my dean told me not everybody could be the Fat Boys, and I helped my moms get a house like the next year. So,
That's
Amazing.
beautiful.
you know, at the end of the day, I'm still amazed by it that I'm still actually a working musician. Because everybody told me this shit wasn't going to last. Yeah.
Someone
Everybody.
said to me recently, if you've just been 10 years in earning a living from music, you're doing good. And I mean,
it amazes me every time.
Absolutely.
And that's why I try to burst the lung on stage. Listen, you ain't going to say I ain't work. That's what's going to happen. So,
Giancana, what's been the most surreal moment for you?
The most real moment? Man,
Where you're just like, wow.
probably,
You said it was the day you met me, right?
absolutely, King. Absolutely. All right, probably like what Craig G mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Doing things for family. You know what I'm saying? Things that I would have never imagined I would have been able to do at the time that I did it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like as
From rap music.
a teenager, you know what I'm saying? Moving your mother, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or paying rent.
Just being
Things like
able
that.
to
Yeah,
do-
yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
Beautiful.
even anything simple like that. You know what I mean? And then just being on my own. You know what I'm saying? Starting my own family. You know, in my teenage years. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that I would have never put the two together. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing. I mean, because you've birthed a lot of MCs. You know, we've seen the resume of some greats that have been like, yeah, G Rap was one of my influences. So I was definitely wondering what you had to say about that.
Nah, no doubt. Man.
but that's what trips me out, because I think more or less any rapper that you can name, you know, who's had a significant influence in the game, like you can hear at least one of you in them. Like, this is how deep like your reach has been. But how do we define legendary? Because now it's kind of like everyone
I wanted to finish
gets
off with
bounded
the
out.
stories
Sorry,
here.
go,
No,
go, go.
wait.
The proof is in the pudding. But legendary.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it was, you know, you know,
Meeting Madonna.
nah. I mean, you know, I've met a lot of amazing people in my lifetime, and I think I've done a lot of amazing things. But I think the one that really tripped me out the most, I guess, that had me like, wow,
Yeah.
was recording All of Me with Barry White.
Wow.
Like that day was just because it was like, you know, thinking that I understand where dude come from. We get up in the studio, and I mean, you know, Barry is mad hood.
Yeah.
Barry is mad hood. And, I mean, long story short, we end up sitting in there drinking 40 ounces of OE. I'm drinking 40s with Barry White.
Barry White.
Yeah. Yeah, we were at Record One studio, and the way we recorded it was we did it all at the same time.
Yeah.
He was in one vocal booth, I was in another vocal booth, and the three background singers was in another vocal booth.
That's crazy.
Y'all did it in real time, man.
Yeah, it was just like boom, just
That's
like
how
that,
they
just
did it.
going
Crazy.
at it like that, you know, back and forth. Cause we weren't doing them but talking, you know. And we in there with our 40s, like, you know, when he's spitting, I'm like this. When I'm spitting, he like this. You know, I
That's
mean,
mad.
yeah,
So
I was
you
like,
must have
yo,
been
this
there
is
like, yo,
crazy.
what the fuck
Like,
is
'cause that's
going on?
something where, like, you come back and tell people, and they be like, you drinking 40s with Barry White? No doubt, Kane.
For those who don't know, he's making it. Yeah,
my
right
pops
face.
was like, my pops was a huge Barry White fan. He was like, tell Kane to tell Barry White I said hello. I was like, wasn't you just telling me to get a real job?
That's true. Miss Shantae.
I think for me, it was actually recently. More so than any experience, you know, like whether it's other artists that we've done songs with or anything like that. It was recently. I was at the Sundance Film Festival, and we did the Roxanne Shante biopic, which is called Roxanne. And to get the phone call from Pharrell, and you know, to get that that moment when they say, okay, listen, it's on the screen. come, you know, we're going to take it to the festival, and to sit there in the audience and to sit in the theater and see people outside with signs saying, can we please get 2 tickets to the Roxanne movie, and to see them standing out there in the blizzard was like, it was surreal to me. It just didn't seem real at that moment, and I'm sitting there in the movie theater and I'm looking up, and then to get that phone call and have it on my watch to look at them bidding for the movie. You know, and each time the price went up, you know, they were hitting my watch, let me know, like, this one's bidding, this one's bidding, this one's bidding. And I was like, I haven't made a record in 30 years. Is this shit real?
That's
like,
crazy.
is this really happening? You know, so I would have to say that's, and then to think of hip-hop having an expiration date, especially to me. To look at it now was just incredible. So I would have to say that was the moment. And I had some wonderful things happen in my career. But to have that happen so many years later, to sit back and say, damn, this is what hip-hop is doing. Like, okay, this
That's
is
amazing.
beautiful. Yeah.
That's what Roxanne Shantae did.
When is that coming out? That have they sorted out when it's coming out? Yet?
March. They're doing it in the spring of 2018.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
But then there's a Juice Crew talk of a Juice Crew biopic. Is that correct?
Well, we're trying to pull it together now.
Absolutely.
You know, we working on that. We're trying to pull it together.
We ain't
now.
talking to nobody but Spielberg now.
Spike Lee's gonna be mad at you for that one, bro.
He don't listen. A lot of us, we need some money.
Shan, so your most what the fuck moment?
It still happens. You know what I'm saying? You walking through Walmart or walking through a shopping store, and you know you just minding your business, and somebody will just go, "Whoa, legend!" You know what I mean? I mean, I got a 7-year-old daughter, and she just thinks that the world knows you, Dad. You're famous. You know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of weird that that's what she thinks like, you know what I'm saying? But it looks to her like the world knows you, Dad. Do you know him? He just said MC Shan. You know, so it still happens daily. You know, that damn. I would have never thought being from Queensbridge, I'd be sitting in here in London, you know.
I was just getting ready to say that.
You know, smoking a fag out in front of the. You know what I'm saying?
You did say smoking, ladies and gents. Let's not get carried away out there. You know,
Yeah, right. We
these
don't
days
play
you gotta
them
be
games.
careful
We
with what
don't
words
put-
you put out there. People get misconstrued.
Nah,
quite
they can't
easily.
get. Listen, we from the old school. We don't play
killing
that.
the homosexual.
Yeah.
Don't try to twist his words.
Right.
But really though, I still
that.
get off planes places and be like, yo, I'm from 4117 2A. A lot of my friends are dead. You know, went the wrong way. And I'm still getting on a plane rapping like a million miles away, it seems. I'm just blessed, man.
Yeah.
Like, really.
Craig be in the middle of Zimbabwe doing a show.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe.
Oh, I did a show in Nairobi. I was emotional. Like, really. Like, I never would have thought, like, it wasn't Ram, but it was like 300 people. But 300 people in Kenya knew who the hell I was. And
amazing.
I live by the incinerator on the second floor. You know what I'm saying? We play corners, and I'm
Sounds
just
like a lyric right
so
there,
to
bro.
this day, like every day, it's something new to me because again, I could have went another way.
All right, but look, today at the customs joint, the customs agent
Yes,
told Kane,
she has an import.
I
on-
had your import.
No, let me tell you.
You know
Let me
what
tell
I'm
you. They pulled us to the side, and she was like, "So who are y'all? What kind of band are y'all?" And I told her I was like the Juice Crew. She said, "Big Daddy Kane," and I pointed to you. And she looked over and was like, "You know, I have the imports of Raw. I had a summer job, and I bought
And
it."
then she said-
and then she started calling. She was like, "Roxanne, Roxanne." But we was
You
all
know what I'm
annoyed
saying?
because they was holding us up. But like to this day, I listen, man. I
That's crazy.
it
man.
all. It,
Telling
You got to come see the show. It's historical.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
if
definitely.
you want some hip hop history, if you have any hip hop in you, you need to come and see the show. And if you can see the show more than once, like see it for the rest of the time that we're here, you're gonna love it.
No,
I
for
would
sure.
love
It's
to.
not. It wasn't all puppies and balloons, but I wouldn't change a thing, man.
That's
That's
right.
all I'm
All
saying.
right. You wanna hear the old classic, The Bridge? Come see the show.
Hey.
But I want you to put that MP3 in your car. Balls over bullshit. So go get that balls over bullshit. Play that shit in your car. But come see the show and hear The Bridge.
Yo, we want to
I
thank
hope I
you
get a
lot,
deal
man.
like Flash.
But finally, though,
What was that?
how
That's a
do
little
you-
inside joke there.
That's from the 5R.
That's for the 5
Yo, we
But
got to wrap
how
up
is
though.
it though, finally, that you guys want to be remembered? Because to me, I do see you as such an important part of like what has been carved out to be a multi-billion-dollar worldwide industry, you know, which has birthed even genres in this country like grime and everything. But how is it that you guys want to be remembered, like, you know, individually and as a crew?
I just want to be remembered as a creative artist that brought some good feelings to people through my music, and that I was a contributor to this music in some positive way.
That's Master Ace, by the way, in case people don't know. Craig G.
I just can't wait for the day that, you know, not just us, but a lot of artists from my era. Like, you just was with Sir Ibu that made Holy War, and I was like, yo, that was like one of the greatest records. I can't wait that they're being treated like the Hall & Oates and the Stings of the world.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all and not just me. Like, I want to see Run DMC, Public Enemy do a tour and make the same amount as the Rolling Stones and them would make when they go out.
Thank you.
That's all I really want to see, and it's not for my own selfish reasons, because, you know, my brick in the wall is maybe small, but I just feel like there's so much great music and energy that was put into this, and for some reason only with hip hop is being treated as disposable, and that's terrible.
And also, when you think how many genres have been and gone in the time that hip hop has been standing.
I mean, ain't
and
nobody
still
singing
standing
"Do the
strong.
Macarena" no more. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I still sing "Fight the Power." So,
Word.
Swing Beat came and left.
man, that we
Yes.
never even released that.
I would want to be remembered as a overall writer, not just a rapper, not just a music artist, but a straight up writer in general. You know what I'm saying? And a wordsmith, lyricist. You know what I mean? Like some people like to, you know what I'm saying, just classify it, you know, because it's hip hop music. Oh, you know, he was a rapper or whatever. Like, nah. Look at the skill set put into this. You know what I'm saying? Like the same credit you give Edgar Allan Poe or you know what I'm saying, or any other poet. You know what I'm saying? Like how they hold their name up to a certain standard. You know what I'm saying? This the same skill set going to this.
But G-Rap, you got to write some movies though, man. You've definitely got some movies
Oh,
in there.
absolutely. Yeah. We working on some things.
Nice.
Like you said, Juice Crew. We working on that.
Big Daddy Kane.
I guess I would want to be remembered as, you know, someone that, you know, took chances, tried different things to broaden, you know, our craft, our culture. You know, that's the way I would like to be remembered. And as a unit, you know, with all of us, I would like for, like, you know, years from now, you know, people to say like, yeah, man, you like Motown had a great, you know, roster. Oh no, but you know, Stax, man, they had an amazing. Hey, man, Juice Crew too. You know.
Yeah, I like that. Man. Roxanne Shante.
I think I would like to be remembered as someone who was willing to share the stage with everyone, someone who was not selfish with fame, someone who decided to take the fame and wanted to share that same feeling with everyone that was in her crew that came in contact with her, someone who wanted to see everyone eat. So, you know, if they wanted to say something about Roxanne Shante, I wanted them to say that, you know what, Roxanne Shante, she was definitely one who wanted to make sure everybody was good.
Sounds like you've done that already, man, from the you know, the accounts we're
Introduction.
hearing here, boy.
Thank you.
Yes,
Beautiful, man.
Shan, what about you?
I want to correct the greatest lie ever told. Me and Chris never battled. So that lie right there is the biggest lie hip hop ever told. So I want y'all to just wipe that out of your mind.
They never went head to head.
Never, except for the Sprite commercial, and that was that.
Yeah.
So don't let him keep continuing to regurgitate that bullshit lie he be
Yeah,
telling.
because they were talking about it happening again, right? You two.
I don't have no respect for that man no more. I don't even. I'm not gonna play in front of the camera like we cool. You know what I'm saying? ain't no love for him. Not for me. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is hip hop. You stay in your corner, I'll stay in mine. I'm not gonna splurt for the media and just act like, yeah, everything is cool. I just don't rock with him. You know what I'm saying? He's good to do what he do. You know what I'm saying? But you talk too much shit for me.
All right, let's try and end it on a positive note.
Nah, man, nah.
Wait. I wanted to ask you, lot. Donald Trump. No, I'm joking. All right, let's.
No, but out of my own curiosity, though, with the symphony, I'm just fascinated to know, like, how long did you guys spend writing those verses?
They did that
Yeah,
shit.
it was
same
quick.
day.
It wasn't even that long.
I didn't get to write
Mine
mine.
was written already. My
Yeah,
verse
mine
was
was
written.
written. Yeah, I think we spent the most time waiting for G Rap to shorten his goddamn rhyme.
Yeah.
The hunger.
Waiting for him to what? Show up?
Waiting for G Rap to shorten his goddamn rhyme.
Yeah.
He had done rapped on, because this is when we still using 2-inch, and he had done rapped the whole
tape
reel
came
off
off.
the tape.
Yeah. You know, shout out to that jerk. I don't know who he was from the Unsung that said you wrote everybody's rhymes. Remember in Unsung, they skipped to some Shamar Moore looking dude. I guess he was some type of journalist. And he was like, yeah, Big Daddy Kane wrote all the rhymes. And I was like, word? Seriously?
That
man?
must have been annoying to hear that.
See, that's the problem.
I
Like,
don't even remember hearing that.
yeah, it was like 6 Twitter rants. Because
That's why you been acting so funky towards me.
Not at all. Because Kane came up with the hook without question. Listen, that was all Kane. Listen,
I didn't even remember.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I didn't want to go first.
That's how the whole
So that's
controversy
true.
started.
That is true that nobody
I
wanted to
didn't
go
want to go
first.
first because
Okay.
I wasn't ready. We came from a photo shoot, and it was like, yo, one more song, and I was like, I seen G Rap writing feverishly, like I seen him doing the rhyme to himself, fever, and I was like, I wrote like 3 different rhymes, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna use this one, and then they was like, yo, Ace, you here? You wanna go?
And I wasn't supposed to be on this. I was just,
Yeah.
I was just there. I was,
Yeah,
I
like
was just the extra ride.
they introduced. I mean, not introduced. I mean, but they told us that Ace was being on the song when we got to Marley House.
Yeah.
Serious?
There was a well, the night I did Raw, I had him with me. So after we recorded the song, me and G Rap just freestyled off the beat. Freestyle meaning the old meaning.
Yeah, off
you
the
know.
top of the
No, written rhymes.
Yeah, written.
We spit on the beat, and when after Raw came out, Marley started playing it, and people started calling up the BLS requesting it.
Yeah.
So because of that, Marley said, yo, I need y'all to do the same thing, but on my album.
Yeah.
So it's really just supposed to be me and G.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
serious? On the symphony?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Marley had told me one time, yo, I told Craig, and he wanted to be on the song. And Craig had just did, I think, Duck Alert.
Yeah.
And I was riding around playing that because I don't even think it was out. It wasn't out, was it?
Nah, it wasn't
out.
out
But
yet.
I had
Yeah.
the demo, and I was riding around. But I was like, hell yeah, let's put Craig on.
Yeah.
But then the day we did the photo shoot for the album, we get back to the crib. Like we met him at the photo shoot, but then we get back to the crib. Now Marley's saying
I think I rode with you,
that this
Ace.
is his
Yeah.
new artist,
Yeah.
and he's gonna be on there too.
Yeah. I rode with Ace. Ace, you had the brown Hyundai.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Even that photo,
that
though,
turned
even
into,
from
bro.
the album, I mean, even that alone is iconic to me. Like, I'm just so pleased that we have that snapshot,
So
That was the same day Symphony was recorded.
Can I say why I wasn't on Symphony?
I did want to know, yeah.
Because I knew Marley's tricks. Marley would say, let's go to the house and make a tape, and next thing it was on a record. He's done it. He's jerked me. You know what I'm saying? So when he was like, yo, I'm going to make a tape. Let's go make this tape. I'm like, I'll see y'all later. I'm going
Oh,
this
no.
way.
Do you
Yeah.
regret that, though?
No, I get asked just as much why I wasn't on it as if I was on it. So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
The glass is half full.
Well, I'm going to tell you the reason why I wasn't on the symphony
Yeah.
is because I did not want to become the girl who was on the symphony, and that's what would have happened if I would have been on the symphony. I would not have been, or I would not have become Roxanne Shantae that you see today. Instead, I would have become the girl who was on the symphony. Because I knew that was going to be a classic, and that's what they was going to say.
Yeah,
But when they on stage doing it though, I'll be like, yeah, I should be right. I'll be wanting to just pop on after them. Keep that beat going. Just let me get something on there.
So do you think there'd ever be any new Juice Crew material then?
Balls
Any
over
chance?
bullshit.
Why, as the Juice Crew, this is why I did say Juice Crew. I tried to emphasize on that.
to
But
be
You can never say never,
To
man.
be honest with you, no
It's a possibility.
matter what music we make, it's all
Juice.
represented as a part of the Juice Crew. Whether we ever do new music together again, because that it's not a bad stigma to have on you, because nobody in my crew was trash.
Right.
So
Say that again,
at the end of the day, yeah, I'm from the fucking Juice Crew. Yeah, you
It's
fucking
always going to
right.
Yes.
be our
Yeah,
foundation.
yeah.
Love
So
that.
It's always going to be our foundation. Juice Crew is always
Yeah.
where it all started at for all of us here.
it was our own hip hop boot camp.
And that's
Exactly.
As
Yeah.
I said, man, you know, like, you guys are all headliners in your own right, so we really appreciate the fact that you come together and giving us, the younger generations, a chance to see, you know, what it was like back then as well. I think it's
Absolutely.
very important for us to keep educating the youth on that as well, because who else is going to do it, you know?
Is this live
Thank
or
you
is
very
this,
much.
when's this gonna air?
Monday.
This airs on Monday.
Monday?
Yeah.
Oh, so they're
the
gonna
show-
still keep asking, are we all here?
Quite possibly.
Until you do the show, yeah.
Wow.
But it's tomorrow, isn't it? The show's tomorrow.
London tomorrow, then what you'll do, Manchester,
Bristol,
Bristol,
yeah.
So
Man,
we'll be
No,
you're
but it's
gonna love
such
it,
a
man.
beautiful thing to have you all here. I mean, I know there's people out here who've been waiting 20-something years for the show, so I think it's going to be pretty exciting, and it's just such a beautiful thing that you've all
Can't wait to
brought
see
it
it, man.
together, and to have you all here so much. So thank you so much for coming
Yes,
out.
man.
Thanks
Crew,
for having
boy,
us.
in the
Thank you.
building, the hip hop show,
Yes.
FUBAR Radio, bitches and bitchettes. Just remember that. Thank you very much, man.
Now I fancy a nap and a spot of tea.